Good day everybody, this is Norm from the Board Game Museum, and today I'm going to be reviewing and giving you a little how to play on the 3 new Monopoly game expansions that came out. Go to Jail, Free Parking, and Buy Everything. Now, if there's 3 words that I can use to describe each of these expansions, one is control, one is take that, and the other one is reward. All 3 of these expansions are meant to enhance the gameplay, and so let's go ahead and take a look at them and I'll give you my final thoughts. Here we go. So we'll go ahead and start off with the different title deeds that you're going to be getting in this expansion. Now you're going to be able to go ahead and purchase things like income tax, chance, go to jail, just visiting, community chest, free parking, and the go space. Now with chance and community chest, if you end up owning that, what you're going to have is control of those particular cards. If someone lands on either chance or community chest, if you have that particular deed, you will be able to go ahead and draw 2 cards and then give them one and put the other one in the bottom of the deck. So you can give them a card that will be less advantageous to them. If you end up landing on it, then you will be able to go ahead and draw 2 cards, keep one, and then put it underneath the deck. Now go, just visiting, free parking, and the go to jail space are the corner spaces, and these are going to work similar to the railroads. Depending on how many you own, that is how much rent you're going to be able to charge the other player. Now income tax and luxury tax are going to work similar to the utilities. If you own one of them, the player who lands on it will pay a certain amount of rent. If you own both of them, they're going to end up paying more rent. You're going to have a set of sale cards over here. You're going to have the roll the buy die. And then you're also going to have a little carousel where you're going to go ahead and draw 3 of these cards, and you're going to go ahead and place them face up onto this carousel. And these are going to have a price on them, and you'll be able to buy them. And then you'll also have an ability that's going to go along with the card. Now on the roll the buy die, there's going to be 3 different faces on the die. The green one will allow you to buy 1 sale card from the sale vault. The yellow face, this is going to allow you to discard one of the sale cards currently displayed in the sale vault and replace it with the top card in the sale deck. So if there happens to be a card that maybe you don't like, you can go ahead and just take the card out, put it on the bottom of the deck, and then replace it like so. And then finally you have the X. This is going to allow you to force a player to discard one of their sale cards, and you'll get to choose which one. So if they have a particularly powerful card, say the Vault, which is very powerful, they are now going to have to get rid of this card. And these cards will also be available to trade with. Now the sale cards are going to be divided into 3 different colors. They're going to be green, red, and yellow. The green cards are going to be winning conditions, and you'll be able to win the game immediately with these particular cards if you own them. For example, this one, the clean sweep. If you own any 8 title deeds, you'll immediately win the game. Doubles. If any player including you rolls doubles 3 times, you'll win the game immediately. If you land on go, you'll win the game immediately. If you own 2 complete property sets, you'll win the game immediately. If you own all the railroads, you'll win the game immediately. And if you own at least 1 railroad, 1 corner space, 1 utility, etc., you'll also win the game immediately. Next, you're going to have the yellow, and this is going to mainly mean owning different things. For example, with this one, you will own the sale vault, which is this, and players are going to end up paying you instead of the bank with this. Players for this one, they're going to pay you for the title deeds, build houses without a complete set. This one over here, they're going to move them to any space on the board if they roll a 7. The buy die, you'll be able to change the die to whatever face you want. This one, you'll own all the buildings. When a player builds, they're going to pay you instead of the bank. You have the bank, which is one of the most powerful cards. Anytime you pay, you're going to use the bank's money, and when you collect, you're going to put it in your personal cash pile. And then you're going to have the red one. This is going to be action cards. This one will allow you to steal each player's least expensive title deed, place a free house on any one of your properties, a jetpack, use it in place of your roll. Instant Monopoly, this will allow you to buy a complete set. Instant Auction, you'll be able to move to the next unowned property, put it up for auction, and then all the 50s, you'll own all the $50 bills. You'll take them from all other players and from the bank. Now the game is going to end when one player completes one of their instant win sale cards, or when all the properties are owned, including the new ones. You're going to add up the values of the properties you own, the total amount you would collect in rent if they were landed on, and then your cash, and the richest player will win. So the Buy Everything expansion has a lot of little things going on with it. Number one, you've got all of the deal cards that have different categories. You've got ones that basically give you control of certain things like the bank, like the cards, like the properties, and these can be very effective in helping you to get money. And then you also have the big one, which are the cards that will help you automatically win the game. Now, one thing I did notice is that this game has a little bit of synergy to it. And there may need to be some rules clarifications, because with all 3 of these versions, the rules are a little vague in places. And I'll give you an example. You have a card that says if you land on go, you will win the game automatically. But there's also a card that you can use that will take you to any space on the board, so you could just use that card, go, then play the other card and say, I win. Now, it doesn't say if you can do that, it just says if you can land on go. So there might be some clarification you might need to do amongst your group, make up like some little house rules or whatever, but there is some synergy. You can play one card, for example, to buy a cheap property, and then play another card that says trade in a property for a property that is unowned, so you could get like Boardwalk from Baltic, for example. I really like the new properties as well. I like the way that they were able to divide all of them up, especially with the chance and community chess cards, where you basically have control of those cards and you can give your opponent one of two as opposed to them having to draw one. I like the four corners idea, similar to the railroads, and the luxury tax and the income tax, using it similar to the utilities. That's cool too, but I thought that was a really cool idea, being able to implement all those things. So there's a lot of little things going on with this game. You've got the new title deeds, you've got cards that are action cards, you've got cards that you can control different things in the game and earn money from them, and then you also have those cards that you can win the game automatically. Now, this game can go by very fast. It really just depends on the cards that somebody gets. With all the different elements in this game, I like the way it works, and to me it just makes the game more fun. It seems to streamline it some more, gives it some more options as to what you can buy and what you can do, so I like it. So in the free parking expansion, you're going to have 6 slots that say spin on them that are going to go over all of the chance and community chess card spaces. You're also going to have what is called the deal mobile that is going to be set over here on the free parking space that you can get access to if you land on free parking, or if you have a card that will allow you access to it. Now, if you land on one of the spin spaces over here, this is going to allow you to spin the wheel. You'll also have an opportunity to spin the wheel if you land on free parking, and if you spend one of your spin tokens. Now, a way you can earn a spin token, if an opponent lands on one of your properties that they owe you rent to, you can either take the rent, or you can just go ahead and take a spin chip instead. Now, you're also going to receive a bonus card anytime you spin the wheel or land on free parking. So just to show you some of these bonus cards over here, here's the Jackpot card. This one will allow you to add 1 to your movement. This one will allow you to stop another player's bonus card. This is a cancel card. Here's another one that says when you spin a red, you may move the spinner to one of the green spaces. There's another one that says if you spin a green, you may move the spinner to any other green space instead. So as you can see, there are a lot of these cards, but these are going to just be action cards you're going to be able to earn, and you can play as many of these on your turn as you want. And you can also use these to trade. But you'll go ahead and draw a bonus card, and then you're going to go ahead and take control of the deal mobile. What you're going to do is you're going to swap your token out, and as long as you have control of the deal mobile, you will not have to pay rent, and you will not have to pay for any unowned properties that you land on. Now, there are a number of ways another player can get a hold of this bad boy. If they land on free parking, they're going to receive this. They can also receive this if they have a card that they can play that will give them ownership of this. Then what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to spin this wheel. Anything that is red, this is going to be money that you are going to go ahead and pay. If you land on green, you're just simply going to follow what it says. It says buy one unowned property. You can put a free house on any property that you own. This will give you the deal mobile, and then this is going to give you the jackpot. Now, the jackpot is the big part of this game. Any money that is going to be owed to the bank is going to go over here to this jackpot. That can be rent, that can be buying hotels and houses, that can be buying properties. Everything is going to go over here. If you end up spinning a jackpot or using a card that has a jackpot on there, you're going to go ahead and collect all of that money, and that can range in the thousands of dollars. So the game is going to end when all the spaces are owned, or if a player goes bankrupt. Everybody will go ahead and collect money from the bank for each of the properties that they've owned for the rent, and you'll add up your cash, and whoever has the most amount of money will win. Now, this expansion is all about gambling. Now, the jackpot might turn a few people off, because if you have that free parking rule where you collect money on the board in the middle, it just makes the game that much longer. But I did not find that to be the case. All of these games will end once all of the properties are purchased. And one thing about this game is you can earn money pretty quick, not only just with those action cards, but if you're able to get the jackpot, you can just start building like crazy. But one thing this game does is it allows you to collect spin tokens instead of collecting rent. So even if you might not have the jackpot now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get it later, because if people are buying houses and hotels, that money is going to go into the jackpot. So if you're able to collect those chips, you might be able to go ahead and collect the jackpot too. So there is some risk and reward in this game. So you might have to actually sacrifice collecting rent in order to get a spin chip to try to see if you can get it. Now, Another thing people might say is like, well, if you get that chance mobile, who's to say you might have this thing for like a really, really long time? Well, now I had it for quite a few turns, and the thing I noticed is that even though I had it, I didn't collect a whole ton of properties, and that's because you can land on the spin the wheel, you can land on go, you can land on another property that somebody owns, so it doesn't mean you're automatically going to sweep up everything. This is definitely more of a gambling type of an expansion, and this is another enjoyable expansion. Now in the game, you're going to be receiving these two cutouts. One is going to go over the jail space, and the other is going to go over the go to jail space. The regular jail space is going to have corruption cards, and the go to jail space is going to have super corruption cards. There's going to be two go to jail slots that you're going to place over both of the tax spaces, and this time if you land on those spaces, you are going to go to jail. Now the chance and the community chest cards are going to be replaced by dice. The chance cards are going to be replaced by the escape die, and the community chest cards are going to be replaced by the heist die. Anytime you land on chance, you're going to go ahead and roll this. Anytime you land on community chest, you're going to go ahead and roll this. And here are what the different symbols mean. On the chance die, if you roll a symbol with the money, you are going to go ahead and draw that amount of corruption cards. So there's going to be one side that will have one you'll do, and then another that you will draw two corruption cards. If you roll the police officer, you're going to go to jail. With the heist die, if you roll a blue space with a number on it, you're going to collect that amount of money. If you roll the police officer, again, you're going to go to jail. So whenever you get sent to regular jail, you're not going to be able to roll doubles to get out of jail. You're going to have a choice. You can stay in there up to 3 turns. Each turn you stay there, you're going to grab a corruption card. To get out of jail, you're simply going to go ahead and pay $100 to the bank. You're going to draw a corruption card anytime you land on or pass just visiting as well. Now, these corruption cards are action cards, and there's a whole bunch of these, and there's no limit as to how many of these or the super corruption cards that you can have. You can play as many of them as you want. That is my understanding on your turn. The only thing is you can't play it immediately after you get it. But anyway, just some of the cards here. Here's one that says, player that you owe rent to pays you rent instead. This one sends another player to super jail. Here's one that says, all of the players hold up their cash, close your eyes and draw a bill. Here's another one that says, swap any one of your properties with your choice of another one. So again, there's a lot of these cards over here that you're going to be able to play. Now, anytime you get sent to super jail over here, you are going to have an opportunity to collect these corruption cards. You can stay up to 3 turns in super jail, and each turn you stay there, you're going to go ahead and draw one of these super corruption cards. Now, these cards are big time powerful over here. I'll just show you a few here. Here's one that says, swipe your entire cash pile with another player's cash pile. Here's another one. This one says, steal $50 from each player or steal $150 from one player. So we got a whole bunch of these nasty cards over here that you're going to be able to collect. Now, whenever you are on the 3rd turn, you're going to have an option. You can either pay $300 to get out of super jail, or you can go ahead and give any super corruption cards that you have collected to the person that sent you to jail. So in this version, the game is going to end immediately when all the spaces are owned or if a player goes bankrupt. If anyone is in jail, they will not be able to win at all. Anybody who's not behind bars will be able to collect money from each of the rent on the properties that they own, including if there's houses and hotels on there. You'll add up your cash, and whoever has the most amount of money will win. Now, if there's one thing that this expansion screams to me, and that is the words, take that. I have to say, I absolutely love those super corruption cards. My wife and I are playing this game, and we probably spent more time laughing at these cards just because of how brutal they were. Basically, being able to just steal so much stuff with those super corruption cards, to me, is just hilarious. I mean, you're just going back and forth playing these cards on each other, and to me, that's a lot of fun. Now, I don't know how serious players might like that. The rules aren't really clear as to how many cards you can play. My understanding is you can play as many as you want, but that might be something you might want to think about, because you might end up having 10 cards and just bang, 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 bang. So that's just something you may have to discuss. But I really like this expansion. This expansion was a lot of fun for me. Just being able to play these nasty cards, and even having the nasty cards played on me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is mean. but it's all in good fun. I really enjoyed this expansion. I enjoyed all 3 of these expansions. I definitely recommend it to anybody who is a light Monopoly player. If you're like a serious Monopoly player, that's just something you might have to consider. But if you like Monopoly and you're looking for a way to amp up the fun, looking for a way to shorten the game, I'd be surprised if you had a game that would go over an hour, personally. But just a lot of cool little things that they've added to these expansions, and I really enjoyed them. All right, guys, that is my review of the Monopoly expansions. We'll catch you later. Keep on gaming. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Subscribe and like.
And comment. And
Click and
share.
share.
And have fun. Have a lot of fun. That's what you gotta do.